Oh, crying. Really cool subject today. Everyone loves to talk about crying, especially in the operational Australian world. Um, Believe it or not, you're a human being and you have emotions, and sometimes the ways that those emotions manifest and express themselves is through crying. And that could be happy. I cried when both my daughters were born. Oh, sorry, my first daughter, and then a little bit later after my second daughter, just different circumstances. I remember a period of time where I would cry seemingly for no reason years ago when I was really, really deep in the depression and this crisis. I've cried when friends have died. I've cried when I've missed something or someone, cried when my relationship ended. I've cried when my daughters have rejected me and not wanted me to be the one that helps them through something. Man, I've cried in all sorts of scenarios. So if you're going to cry, there's a reason for it. And it's emotional, right? You're not the logical creature that you think you are. You're just as emotional as everybody else. You just may not be in touch with it as much as you should be. So, and I've had many, many conversations with people over the years, people that I know now would never talk about this stuff, don't talk about their experiences publicly. They're still in operational jobs, really hardcore, police tactical groups, Army Special Forces, police GDs, dog squad, corrections, ambulance fireys, all sorts of jobs, the hardcore stuff that we like to think is the best that we aspire to. All sorts of people from those worlds have spoken to me at all sorts of times in the last 7 years about their own experience with crying for no reason, seemingly no reason. And I want to give you my perspective and my experience and what I think this is. So typically a lot of us in this world are not very good at addressing our emotions. Surprise, surprise. Because we don't like to address our emotions because emotions we can't understand, and we like to be logical, and we don't like emotions to cloud our judgment because we have an important job to do, right? And that's totally fine. In that moment, when you're doing the hardcore part of your job, you do not need your emotions right then and there. And that's the issue, because your body stores it, and your emotions happening no matter you like it or not, it's going to happen. So what happens if they just go internal? You just store them away for another day because you can't have that emotional response right then and there when you're doing the heavy shit. So it just gets stored away somewhere. Now, believe it or not, your body has to process those emotions. It has to. You've got to read a book called The Body Keeps the Score, right? Because you can have physical manifestations of those emotions and they're not good if you don't express them. So when you are in that really severe and acute crisis like I was 7 years ago, I'll be driving home from a stressful day at work, a day that would normally not have stressed me out, and I would randomly burst into tears, crying, sobbing like a little girl in my car on the way home. This hardcore Special Forces dude driving home from doing awesome Special Forces stuff at work, crying my eyes out like a little girl on the way home. And the reason was I had so many emotions from all throughout my entire life that I'd never processed properly or never processed at all or completely suppressed and ignored and overrode them with work or alcohol or partying or trying to be overly happy or philosophical or whatever it is. So if you find yourself in that situation where you just want to cry or you do cry or you feel, fuck, it's coming on and I've got to suppress it again, and that gets harder and harder, the reason is you've got emotions that you haven't dealt with, right? And it could be something you've never thought of. For me, it was childhood. I had no idea. I'd forgotten a lot of the stuff that happened to me when I was a kid. And then it came back and it was very emotional. It was hard to deal with. And it's the same now with my daughters and, confronting this thing called fatherhood. There are all sorts of unexpressed emotions from all throughout my life, including my military career. So when you cry for no reason, I'm fucking telling you right now, there is a reason. You've got unexpressed and undealt with emotions. So instead of just letting it consume you and feel the physical toxic effects of that in your body, find out what they're from and just express them in a healthy way and let them out. And there's nothing wrong with having a cry in private to get those emotions out and just let them spill over the little bit, so you've got just a tiny bit more space to operate for the next day or two. And then you're going to go through it again. But the best thing to do is deal with it at its core.